April is Financial Literacy Month. Even though retirement may be sooner for some and may seem far away for others, it's important to know your benefits and to start planning. Here at the Chicago Transit Authority, we offer retirement planning and benefits for our employees. We are thankful to have Angel Trevino here with us today from CTA Pension to provide some information and resources to help better plan for retirement. Thank you, Angel, for joining us today, and I will now turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jillian. Appreciate that. Just give me one moment here. That's fine. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. A special thank you to the CTA Wellness team for having me. My name is Angel Trevino. I'm the Senior Benefits Rep for the Retirement Plan for CTA employees. Today, we're going to go over some key information regarding the retirement plan and the Retiree Healthcare Trust. My goal is to offer you a better understanding of your pension and healthcare benefits that are available to you through the plan. Retiring as a Chicago Transit Authority can be an exciting and rewarding experience, but it also requires careful consideration and planning. There are a few things to consider when you're planning your retirement. First would be your pension benefit. At CTA, employees are eligible for a pension plan based on their years of service and salary. It's important to understand the pension benefits that you will receive and how they will impact your retirement income. Health insurance is also a key thing to plan for. CTA employees may be eligible for retiree health insurance, which can provide valuable coverage for medical expenses. However, it's essential to understand the costs and the coverage associated with retiree health insurance and plan accordingly. Budgeting. As with any retirement, budgeting is critical. You'll need to consider expected income, expenses, and lifestyle to ensure that you can maintain your standard of living in retirement. And for those who pay into Social Security, I think most of us, you may be eligible to receive Social Security benefits in addition to your CTA pension. It's important to understand how Social Security benefits work and how they will impact your retirement income. So with all that said, let's get started by taking a closer look at the retirement plan and its origins. The retirement plan for Chicago Transit Authority employees was originally negotiated for members of Divisions 241 and 308 of the Amalgamated Association of Street, Electric Railway, and Motor Coach Companies of America. On December 28, 1949, the retirement plan was extended to all other eligible employees by action of the Chicago Transit Board. On October 1, 1952, the Chicago Motor Coach Company was purchased by the Chicago Transit Authority. Employees of the Chicago Motor Coach Company were added to the retirement plan on January 1, 1953. During this presentation, you might hear me refer to the retirement plan for CTA employees as the retirement plan or the plan. Let's get started with the basics. What is the purpose of the retirement plan? The purpose of the plan is to provide income to eligible employees when they retire, whether it be due to age, service, or disability. Your future pension benefits will be determined by several factors, including date of hire, age, years of service, and salary average. In just a moment, we're going to go over the minimum age and service requirements necessary to obtain a pension. But first, let's take a look at who is eligible to participate in the plan. In general, if you are an eligible retirement plan participant and full-time employee of the CTA who has completed 12 months of continuous service, you will begin participating in the plan. The current employee contribution percentage is 13.324%, while CTA contributes 26.64% of employee earnings. Part-time employees do not participate in the retirement plan, but they do earn eligibility credits and contribute to the healthcare trust. On average, participants in the Retiree Healthcare Trust will pay lower healthcare premiums than individuals that do not participate in a healthcare trust. Let's move on to retirement eligibility. Once you are participants of the plan, you will need to have a minimum number of years of service and/or age in order to become eligible for pension benefits to begin. If you look on your left, you'll notice the words normal retirement. What is normal retirement? Normal retirement is a retirement that takes place on or after an employee has reached their 65th birthday. The benefits to retiring under a normal retirement are that an employee would not face any early retirement penalties and would be eligible to retire with any amount of pension service. So whether you worked for the company for 25 years or 25 months, you would be entitled to a monthly pension benefit after turning 65. Now, I understand that not everybody wants to work until they're 65. I know I don't. Thankfully, there are early retirement options. Early retirement with penalty and early retirement without penalty. The requirements for each depend on when you were first hired. For example, if we look at the chart on the right, those employees that were hired on or before September 5th, 2001 are eligible for an unreduced pension at any age as long as they retire after completing 25 years of continuous pension service. An employee hired under that same time frame with less than 25 years of service would also be eligible for a reduced pension after age 55 upon completing at least 3 years of continuous pension service. If you were hired after September 5th, 2001, but before January 18th, 2008, you would be entitled to an unreduced pension after reaching age 55 with at least 25 years of continuous service, or a reduced pension after age 55 upon completion of at least 3 years of continuous pension service. For those hired on or after January 18th, 2008, you are entitled to an unreduced pension after age 64 with 25 years of continuous service, or a reduced pension after age 55 upon completion of at least 10 years of continuous service. I want to note that the penalty for retiring early is 5% for each year under the age of 65, and that penalty will last for the duration of your pension. So for example, if you were hired in 2002 and you retired at the age of 55 with 10 years of service, your pension would be reduced by 50%, or 5% for each of the 10 years under age 65 that you were at the time of retirement. For the purposes of determining pension benefits, pension service starts from the 1-year anniversary of the date of full-time service. So a lot of times when I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll let them know that they have 21 years of pension service. And I will very quickly mention that I know that they have 22 years of service full-time. The full-time, first year full-time does not count towards your pension. The employee's continuous service is calculated from the employee's date of hire to their date of retirement or termination. It includes any period of time that they were on authorized leave or in layoff status. Continuous service with the Chicago Transit Authority generally refers to the length of time that an employee worked for CTA without any significant breaks in employment. Jillian, are we able to go back to the page 4? Thank you. I do want to note that what you don't see on this chart are the minimum requirements for disability pension benefits. So unlike a regular retirement, a disability pension benefit is not penalized or subject to minimum age requirements. So if you are disabled due to a non-occupational accident or illness, you must have at least 10 years of continuous pension service in order to apply for disability pension. Again, there's no minimum age. If you are disabled due to an occupational accident or illness, you must have at least 5 years of continuous pension service. And you must have completed at least 26 weeks under short-term disability or workman's compensation prior to putting in your application for disability pension. Now, there's another option that I'd like to share with you today. That is the deferred vested pension. Jillian, can we go to page 5, please? Okay. Now, the deferred vested pension is not for everyone, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. If you are a CTA employee and you became separated after having contributed to the pension for at least 10 years, but you don't meet the requirements for an early retirement because of your age, you will have the option to take a deferred vested pension. This deferred vested pension is a monthly pension that begins on the first of the month after you reach age 65, which is again considered the normal retirement age. So you could work for CTA for 11 years, 12 years, find a job somewhere else, and instead of taking down your refund, you leave your contributions where they are, and now you've locked in a pension in the future beginning at 65. This pension would be calculated by using the average and years of service that you had at the time that your employment was terminated. By having reached the age of 65, a vested employee's pension benefit would not be subject to any early retirement penalties. Vested employees that submit an application for their pension to begin at age 65 are also automatically eligible for health care benefits, since you would meet the minimum requirement to enroll in the plan's health insurance, which at 65 years of age is 10 years of service. The vested pension is also a good option for those that do meet the early retirement penalty criteria, but they would rather delay their pension until age 65 to avoid early retirement penalties. Alternatively, the employee may take a refund of contributions if he or she waives the future eligibility for pension benefits. So anyone who does sever ties with CTA and wants to take a refund, they will have to sign a form saying that they understand that they had a pension benefit in the future had they not taken down their full refund, and then we do disperse that to them. And then what happens if an employee leaves the authority before they have completed 10 years of continuous service? If an employee leaves the authority with less than 10 years of service, their only option at that point would be the refund. Okay. And then with the opting in, opting out, there's a few things I need to talk to you guys about. Now, it used to be in the past, if you opted out of the pension, that was it. Your opportunity to participate was done. Recently, the board has been in discussions and they're negotiating the option to opt back in. So for those who have already opted out, just recently, there has been letters that went out, and I will go over the portion of the negotiations that has been finalized, and I will mention at the end what has not yet been determined. So I'm going to read from the letters that went out to those who opted out, who had the opportunity to opt back in. So it states, Section 4.5 of the most recent amendment to the collective bargaining agreement between CTA and the representative unions 241 and 308 provides that a non-vested, non-bargained for employee who initially opted out of the CTA retirement plan may, in written notification to the plan, elect to participate at a later date, but may do so only once and only on a prospective basis. So meaning that your pension service would start from that point forward. The election is effective upon completion of processing by the payroll department of the Chicago Transit Authority. And this would not entitle you to any benefits from the plan that arose from any prior service. And basically, any non-union, non-bargain for employee would have the opportunity to opt back in one time, and you are not going to be given credit for any service time that was from the past. What has not been determined yet is for those who did contribute to the plan, however little, when do those contributions get passed back on to the employee? That's still in negotiations. And if you are someone out there who has opted out and you're interested in opting back in, please go ahead and contact our office. Specifically, you're going to contact Hector Flores, and his phone number is 312-463-0356. I'll go over some contact information later on the slide. Now that we've discussed the various types of retirement options, let's go over another extremely important part of retirement, healthcare benefits. I know that several of you have questions regarding the Retiree Healthcare Trust, so let's discuss that first. In 2006, there were financial challenges facing CTA. The retirement plan was only 30% funded, which means it could only cover 30% of future expenses, including both pension payments and healthcare costs. Healthcare costs were also expected to increase significantly. When combined with rising healthcare costs, these plan features meant that the retirement plan would have to pay a larger portion of future healthcare expenses if no changes were made to either the plan design or the payment structure. In January of 2008, legislation was passed by the Illinois General Assembly and authorized the establishment of the Retiree Healthcare Trust. The primary responsibility of the Retirement Healthcare Trust is to provide and administer healthcare benefits for CTA retirees and their dependents and survivors. The Retiree Healthcare Benefit Program is now reviewed annually to determine if there are sufficient funds to cover its future obligations. Active employees were previously required to contribute 3% of their salary to the Retirement Healthcare Trust. That requirement has now dropped to 1%. And you can view the complete text of the Illinois Public Act 95-0708 on our website, ctaretirement.org. Earlier in our presentation, we discussed pension eligibility. Now let's take a look at healthcare eligibility. What are the age and service requirements to be eligible for healthcare benefits from the Retirement Healthcare Trust? If you look at the chart, you'll see the term eligibility credits. Eligibility credits are used to determine eligibility for Retirement Healthcare Trust coverage. They are calculated by using your credited service from the start of your career till the date January 17, 2008, plus continuous service with CTA from January 18, 2008 through 12/31/2018. Depending on your age and your years of eligibility service, you may or may not be able to enroll in the healthcare coverage at the time you retire. For those under the age of 65, you must have 20 or more years of eligibility service and be at least 55 years of age in order to enroll immediately. If you retire at 65, you may enroll in the plan's health insurance if you have at least 10 years of eligibility service. If you retired under the age of 65, but you had at least 10 years of eligibility service, you may enroll in the plan's insurance beginning at the age of 65. And if you retired with more than 25 years of service, but you were under age 55 at the time that you began receiving pension benefits, you will be able to enroll yourself and your family on the health insurance after reaching your 55th birthday. If you have less than 10 years of eligibility credits, unfortunately, you will not qualify for health insurance at any point throughout retirement. One second, we'll stay on this page for a bit. Those that are not eligible for health care from the Retirement Healthcare Trust will be eligible for reimbursement of healthcare trust contributions via the Healthcare Reimbursement Account, or HRA, starting at age 65. Enrollees in the HRA will receive a debit card to be used on medical expenses until their individual Retirement Healthcare Trust contributions have been exhausted. The HRA debit card is also available to those that do qualify for insurance through the plan, but feel that the debit card is a better option for them. We can go to the next slide, Jillian, please. How are the monthly healthcare premiums set for retirees and dependents? The Board of Trustees of the Retiree Healthcare Trust determines what premiums will be from year to year. They are responsible for creating a plan design and setting premiums for eligible enrollees. And those can be our retirees, our disability recipients, dependents, and surviving spouses. What kind of insurance is available to eligible pensioners? The CTA retiree healthcare plan includes medical, prescription drug, and dental coverage for CTA retirees, disabled pensioners, surviving spouses, and eligible dependents. At this time, we offer Aetna to those who are under 65 and who are not Medicare eligible due to disability. For those over 65 or Medicare eligible, we offer Humana. You will have your choice of PPO or HMO under both plans. If you are enrolled in Aetna, at the time that you reach Medicare eligibility at 65, you will be offered Humana from that point going forward. If your spouse or dependents are not Medicare eligible at the time that you become Medicare eligible, they may remain on Aetna. Those who are eligible to enroll in the insurance, but who have not yet enrolled, will have the opportunity to do so each year during open enrollment, which is typically November 1st through November 15th. For those who experience qualifying events such as turning 55 or a sudden loss of insurance from another employer, you may also enroll in the plan insurance program at that time. So premiums are determined on 4 factors. The medical plan that you elect, such as PPO or HMO, the coverage level that you elect, individual or family. The cost does rise significantly when adding 1 or more dependents. The Medicare eligibility for you or your dependents. Anyone qualifying for Medicare is going to bring your premium down significantly. And the retirees' years of premium service, which we'll discuss at length in just a moment. If you go to our website, ctaretirement.org, you'll be able to check out the CTA Retirement Healthcare Plan Enrollment Guide to determine what your monthly premium coverage might be. Although the board sets prices of the insurance, there are certain actions you can take as an employee to potentially lower the cost of your future healthcare premiums. We previously discussed eligibility service. Now let's discuss retirement healthcare trust premium service. We're going to stay on this page if we could for a bit. For hourly employees, retirement healthcare trust premium service is what we use to determine monthly healthcare premiums. It's calculated by using your credited service with CTA through January 17, 2008, plus total hours worked after January 2008. Unlike pension service, retirement healthcare trust premium service can accrue faster over time. It is not uncommon for someone to have a year or sometimes several years more in premium service than their pension service. It can also have the opposite effect. For those who are unable to work due to illness or injury, their retirement healthcare trust premium service will fall behind, and they may be subject to higher premiums if that time is not made up. For salaried employees, we will use pension service in place of retirement healthcare trust premium service. For any hourly employees that were off from work for an extended period of time due to an illness or injury, you are encouraged to speak with a benefits rep to see how your retirement healthcare trust premium service may have been affected. Contributions to the healthcare trust play a tremendous role in your retirement. If eligible, those contributions go towards lowering the cost of you and your family's health insurance for life. Today, the average retiree retires at age 55, with 25 years of service. If they elect to enroll in the Aetna PPO, that's offered through our plan. The cost to them would be $207 a month. The true cost of that insurance is over $1,000 per month. If they take the family plan, they would pay $868 per month. The true cost of that plan is over $2,100 per month. The savings over time, just like the pension, would more than likely be paid out several times over during the course of their lifetime. On average, our pensioners receive back every single penny that they contribute to the pension and the retiree healthcare trust via discount within the first 3 years. It's a pretty good deal. Yes. We can go to page 12, please, Joey. Am I eligible for HRA or the Retirement Healthcare Trust coverage? You may be eligible for only HRA at age 65, or you might have a choice between HRA and the RHCT, depending on your years of service. As we discussed earlier, you must meet the minimum required age and amount of eligibility service to enroll in the plan's health insurance. A few more pieces of information regarding the healthcare trust. You cannot have both the HRA debit card and the Retiree Healthcare Trust healthcare coverage. If you elect to take the healthcare coverage, the contributions that you made to the plan will be used to offset the cost of your monthly healthcare premiums as long as you are enrolled. Those contributions will likely be depleted during your retirement. However, your premium will not go back up as a result. You're eligible for HRA at 65, even if you are not eligible for a pension. If you opted out of the CTA pension or received a refund of your pension contributions, you are only eligible for the HRA. You may be eligible for immediate health care coverage if you receive a disability allowance, regardless of age. Certain part-time or temporary employees who do not meet the requirements for a pension may be eligible for health care coverage. This applies for those part-time employees who leave CTA with more than 10 years of eligibility service. For more information on all topics that were discussed today, please feel free to log on to our website, www.ctaretirement.org. There you will find some of our most frequently asked questions and answers, our current healthcare guidebook, which goes into detail on the insurance that's offered to our retirees, our disability recipients, and even our pension estimate calculator so that you can see what it takes to get closer to your retirement goals. A lot of great information on that site, and I highly encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. Also, a little secret for my VIP attendees here today. On our website, in the upper right-hand side under the Contacts tab, you will be able to view each staff member's name along with their list of responsibilities and their direct numbers. I know a lot of people are having trouble getting through to the main number, so that is definitely going to expedite the contact of our office. So in summary, retirement is a significant milestone in every individual's life. It marks the end of one's working years and the beginning of a new chapter. It's a time to enjoy the fruits of one's labor, pursue passions, and spend quality time with loved ones. However, retirement planning can be a daunting task, requiring careful consideration and preparation. Our aim is to equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to plan for a happy and fulfilling retirement. Whether you are close to retirement or years away, retirement plan staff are here to guide you along the way. This concludes today's presentation. Thank you again so much for investing your time with me today. I hope you have a better understanding of your retirement benefits, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. I will now take questions when Jolene is ready.
Yes, thank you so much, Angel, for a great informative seminar. We will now open it up for questions. You can either unmute yourself or write in the chat.
Hello, I have a I'm a FTTC. Oh, I got bad echo. Jeez. I'll chat. No, it's the.
Can you cover again how service is calculated or what the definition of service is under the pension and what the definition of service is under the RHCT?
Sure. So pension service begins on your 1-year anniversary full time. And so basically, continuous service as long as you did not leave the company, take down a refund of your contributions, and return to work, never pay those back. You are adding continuous service to the pension. If you are an hourly employee, any hours over 2,080 per year are going to accrue to additional service time. So if you are someone that's offered a lot of overtime and your goal is to reach 27 years pension, it is very, very likely that you could have 30 years of service in your retirement healthcare trust premium service time. Happens all the time. You would then be benefiting from the lower premium because it would push you into the next bracket. Our brackets go by 5-year increments. So it's something that you want to keep an eye on if you are an employee that does work a lot of overtime. And it's also something that you want to keep an eye on if you're someone who has unfortunately missed work due to illness or injury. Again, any hourly employees who are out of work are not paying into the healthcare trust. Their time is falling behind. So it's also common for us to have someone come into the office hoping to leave with 25 years only to find out they have 23 and a half years with the healthcare trust because they missed a year and a half of work, being injured on duty. So either way, your hourly employees out there, this is important for you to keep track of. Salaried employees, this doesn't affect you. We will go based off of pension service. If you miss work, your pension service remains intact. That is always the case, whether you're hourly or salary. Pension service is not affected by you being off sick or on an excused absence, but healthcare trust is for those hourly only.
Thank you. We do have a question in the chat, Angel, that states, can we buy back the years we did not pay into pension?
Nobody can buy time when it comes to the pension. If you did take a refund of your contributions, the only way to get that time added back to your service would be to pay back that refund. If you missed work due to an illness or injury, your pension service is fine. You're not missing any time there. The healthcare trust is also something you cannot pay into other than working those hours. So if you miss time, no, you cannot buy time. If you're at 24 years and you really want to get out of CTA and buy a year, you cannot do that.
Okay, thank you. And we have another question. Are pension distributions adjusted for inflation? This applies for both if someone leaves after 10 years, but before retirement age, or while they're at CTA.
Right. In both cases, no. Your pension is not adjusted regularly, but there are, the board does offer cost of living adjustments every so often. This I'm showing is done
I think they're
most
gonna.
of the time
You only want one?
every so often, but it's not a scheduled cost of living adjustment.
You want one other one? You can have it. If you like it, take the other one.
If everyone can mute themselves, they're not asking a question.
So Again, there are no steady cost of living adjustments. There are adjustments maybe once every decade if we look at the history of our increases. And maybe I would expect $35 to $40 of an increase. So that is why I do tell those who are considering retirement, you know, don't lock in a pension that's just good enough for now. Do take into account that you are going to need more in the future. We do get calls from those who retired a decade or two ago and they are struggling. That is unfortunate, but you've kind of got to build that into your pension planning.
Thank you. Next question. What is the difference between CTA health benefits versus Medicare when over 65?
The healthcare benefits that are offered to you when you are not on Medicare yet would be full coverage insurance. It's similar to what you have now with Cigna. It's a 90-10 plan. The health insurance that you would be offered once you are Medicare eligible is a Advantage plan that goes along with Medicare A and B. Medicare A and B is not enough coverage, in my opinion. It offers 80%, and it also doesn't come with a prescription plan. The insurance that we offer through Humana offers another 10% of coverage, and it does come with a built-in prescription plan. It also has very small co-pays for emergencies services such as ambulance and emergency room visits. I think the co-pays are somewhere between $50 and $65 for those services. So it's definitely something that you should look into, whether you take insurance with us after 65 or not. You don't want to be exposed to 20% of an unlimited amount of medical costs.
Thank you. My wife and I both work for CTA. Can she opt out of the insurance and jump on mine once she retires?
Yes, she can. So her name will be submitted to the monthly board meeting, which takes place roughly a week before the retirement. And then it's important to get in contact with the benefits team at CTA to let them know that she will be needing to enroll on the active employees insurance. Yes, you can.
Thank you. A few more. If an employee leaves CTA while enrolled in the pension, will they be able to continue where they left off and return to CTA in the future?
No, they would have to start over as a new hire. I know that there are some cases where, and this is, it's pretty unique, where we'll have someone in pension status and then they will get rehired and they'll work so much that they actually earn a second pension. So you would have to be hired as a new hire. You cannot build on service from the past.
Thank you. If I'm an FTT employee, which is 59 years old, if I become a full-time permanent employee, it would only be 5 or maybe 6 of pension contribution? Will I take any funds other than my contributions?
Yes. So if you were hired at 59, you were cutting out a little bit, but if you are hired in your later years and you have been participating in the pension, remember, if you work until the age of 65, you will be guaranteed a pension for life as long as you stay with CTA and retire after age 65. So yes, you will build yourself a small pension payable for life.
Perfect. Okay. Someone's asking if you can repeat the cost of Aetna PPO for families under 65 years of age.
Well, that highly depends on the years of service that they have. In the presentation, I used the most common example, which is 25 years of service. 25 years of service, the family rate would be $868 per month. And that would include the retiree plus any number of dependents with no limit. The individual rate for someone with 25 years is $207. If we go back to that example of the employee who works so much overtime that they have 30 years of service in the healthcare trust, their family premium would drop to $568, when saving themselves $300 a month for the duration of their time that they need full coverage insurance for themselves and their family. So that's how much it is now. The rates can fluctuate. They've actually gone down, I want to say 3 out of the last 6 years.
Okay, awesome. Few more. For those who started after January 18, 2018, are there any penalties for someone who retires at age 55 with a deferred vested pension with 32 years of continued service?
Well, if they're hired after January 18th, 2008, and they have 32 years of service, unfortunately, if they're still under the age of 65, yes, there would be a 5% penalty for every year under 65 that they are at the time that they retire. So it does matter how old you are when you retire based on, the date of hire. So you want to look carefully at the terms that were in place at the time that you were hired. So if this person started very young in their 20s, even though they have 32 years, they're maxed out, yes, they would be subject to a early retirement penalty unless they were to go work somewhere else and leave their contributions where they are till they're 65 and start collecting their vested pension.
So I have a question.
Sure.
My question is, if I'm 57 now, and I have 22 years of service, and I decide to retire at the age of 61, giving me 26 years of service with CTA, would I be eligible for full pension, or do I have to wait till I'm 65?
So you're saying you're 57 now, but you want to retire at 61?
61 or 62. Let's say I retire at 62.
And in this scenario, you have less than 25 years?
No, I would have 26 years of service.
What year were you hired?
2001 in June.
June 2001. Because you would have more than 25 years, your age would be irrelevant. You would have a unpenalized pension.
Oh, thank you so much. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, that's the best bracket that you could have been hired under. 25 years and out. 25 years pension, which is 26 full-time, does not matter how old you are, you can begin your pension. What does matter is that you cannot enroll in the health insurance until you're 55, but no minimum age to retire in that category.
Okay, so all I really need is 3 years then to do full pension without penalty. 26 years of service. At 25 years of 25 years.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My name's Ron. I have a question I'd like to ask.
Sure.
So I started working at CTA when I was 28. And this was obviously after 2008. So that means I'm going to have to be here for nearly 40 years to collect the full pension, or after 25 years, can I just leave my pension on freeze and go work somewhere else until I'm 65 and get full benefits of my pension?
So if you want to retire and start receiving benefits at the time you retire, you have to have at least 55 years with 10 years of service for a penalized pension. Unfortunately, you would have to, in this case, either decide to take a major penalty or go work somewhere else, as you stated, and start collecting your pension at 65. There is no in between. If you leave your contributions in place to be vested here, you can only begin receiving them at 65. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and either give you the penalty, the pension with penalty that you had at the time that you left, or you can take a refund of your contributions.
Okay,
So you were hired at 28 years.
I was 28 years old when I started.
Yeah, you would have to work 36 years I know.
So
Yeah.
what about working 25 years,
25
leave
years.
my pension alone, and then I can go work 10 years somewhere else and get another pension with them? Can I do that and still get full pension with CTA?
Get full pension with CTA.
Now, you can leave the company with 25 years. You can leave the company with 10 years, but you can't collect it until 65.
Okay, I
So I
understand.
just want to make sure that that's clear. If you left with 25 years, you would be 53, and then you'd have to let it stay with the pension until, for 12 more years and start collecting.
I understand.
And there,
Thank
there
you.
would be a penalty if you wait until 65? Till 65?
There's no penalty if you wait till 65.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. So again, the minimum number of years that you would need in order to leave your pension behind and collect it at 65 with no penalty is 10 years. Any amount of time after that, you can and will receive a pension in the future if you do not take a refund of your pension contributions down.
Yeah, I have a question. So the difference between Ron and Juan, both having 25 years of service, but Juan doesn't get penalized. Is that because of his start date was 2001?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Sure. And I believe that every year we send these statements out, and on those statements, it does have the hire date chart and the requirements that each individual hired under those 3 dates would need in order to retire with full benefits or penalized benefits. And if you need, you are welcome to check out our website. They are listed there as well.
I have a quick question referring back to the, I was in the pension for a few years, like 3 years, then I opted out, and now I'm back in.
Okay.
And you said that the board had not decided about the first 3 years. So my understanding is that I'm starting over on years of service now in 2023. And
That's
you
right.
don't know what's going to happen with the money from the first 3 years?
So what is still in discussion is when do we refund those contributions that were made to the plan prior to the individual opting out? Do we give them back now, or do we give them back when they retire? That's what's still up for debate.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
so,
got it.
I believe it's going to be discussed in our board meeting, which is about in 1 week. So,
Okay.
If you want to check back with our office after next Friday, you're welcome to do so.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hello, I have a question.
Hi, how are you? Go ahead.
Okay, I started on January 30th, and I'm a full-time temp
What year? Oh,
this year.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I got the opportunity to become a full-time permanent. If I was to start contributing to the pension, would I get any additional funds other than what I contribute? Because of my short time until I retire.
Mm-hmm. Well, you really got to find out if you are in the waiting period to become a full-time employee,
am.
full-time permanent. Okay,
But it could be
then
a year
you
or
would
two
have
before I
to-
get in. And I'm
Okay,
59
if
now.
you are Yeah, if you're full-time, you should be able to contribute to the plan in 12 months from the date of hire, full-time. And at that point, you will begin paying into the pension. If you are looking to stay till you're 65, you will be entitled to pension if you leave and retire after that point.
Does
If
that
you
pension
are
mean that
not
once I receive what I paid in, I'd continue getting some kind of a payment?
So you're not going to receive what you put in as in a lump sum. Based on your years of service and your salary average, we will calculate a monthly benefit for you, and that monthly benefit will be payable for life. So the calculation, if you want to do this at home, is you would take your average times our multiplier, 0.215 or 2.15 times your years of service. So let's say,
Okay,
I'm going to look at a fictitious estimate here for you. So
okay,
let's say your average is $67,000. You would take 67,000 times 0.0215, and you would get $1,440.50. If you worked 15 years, you would times that number times 15, and you would get your annual benefit, $21,607.50. Like you would simply divide that up by 12, and it would show that your monthly benefit is $1,862. So
and that's,
for you, you could take your average times 0.0215 equals whatever amount times years of service, and see if it's worth it for you to stay in the pension. I don't even know if you have the option to opt out, but you definitely would be eligible for a pension if you work to 65.
I have the option of staying as a temp, and that's why I'm considering whether I should go for it if I get the opportunity.
Okay. Well, if
So
you'd
that
like to
that
run
payment
some
would be,
numbers,
that payment would be, this
you can say
feedback
you're
is real
welcome to
bad.
tell
I'm
me.
sorry.
No problem.
So that payment would be for the rest of my life or carried on to my wife if I passed on?
Your pension is payable for your lifetime.
Okay.
At the time that you come in and apply for pension, if you are a married employee, we will offer you the option to leave a survivor's pension. And this pension will be based on your age, your spouse's age, and your monthly benefit. So on average, we would see someone with a, let's say, $4,000 a month pension. An option to leave half might be $500 or $600 a month, but that would carry on to the spouse's lifetime. Everybody's survivorship deduction is different. And if you're thinking of that, go ahead and give us a call.
We have another question, Angel. Once I'm eligible to retire, can you leave any month, or do you have to work to the end of the year?
You definitely do not need to work until the end of the year. What you do need is to work past your anniversary date if this is someone who's leaving right at the time that they are eligible to. So if you are reaching your 25th year on April 21st, you would need to work through April and retire at least May 1st. The retirement does have to take place on the 1st of the month.
All right, and there's just two more. I was hired in 1993 and now I'm 52. Would I be able to get my pension unreduced?
Definitely, as long as there wasn't any breaks in service. 1993, that was way more than 25 years ago, so you would be able to take the pension with no penalties. However, due to the age of 53, you would not be eligible to enroll in health insurance until 2 years later.
Okay. How much are the medical premiums if I also have Medicare?
If you have Medicare, it depends on how many years of premium service time you had. So our average employee who has 25 years of service would pay $52 a month for their Medicare Advantage plan through Humana. But this varies. I mean, if you get a later start with CTA and you only have 10 years, well, then your premium would be much higher. Someone with 10 years would pay $187. So it does depend.
Okay. And I think you kind of answered this one, but this is the very last question. If I was hired in 1997 I'm currently 44 years old with 26 years. If I decided to retire between now and maximum being under 55, would I be able to collect a full pension?
Now, full pension is technically 32 years and 7 months pension. So we want to be careful when we say full pension. I think what you mean is unpenalized pension. You would be able to collect an unpenalized pension at any point when you have 25 years or more of pension service if you were hired before 2001. So yes, you can retire, no penalties, full pension technically 32.58 years or 32 years and 7 months. Nope. The only drawback is, again, no health insurance if you're under 55.
Okay. And
I do
see.
have one question real quick.
Sure.
I'm one of those non-bargain who opted back in.
Okay.
I had my meeting with Hector and
Mhm.
I just need to confirm. I understand there's no buyback. Like you mentioned before, your time starts all over when you opt in. But I believe there is, for those who are opting in, from what Hector told us, there is 1 year that is given back to that employee. So instead of having a minimum of 10 years, it's actually equates to 9 years. Can you confirm that?
I cannot confirm that at this time. What I had heard was that we would allow those who are looking to opt in to be given retro credit from the time that this negotiation became final, which I believe was February of 23, but no more than that. I would have to talk with him. This is, I'm not familiar with what you're stating.
Hi, I wanted to add here my name is Patru. I also was told by Hector the same thing like Jim is saying. So
Okay.
I have the same questions in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, I do encourage anybody who is opted in or is looking to opt in to give us at least 2 weeks because the board is not done with their final negotiations on this topic. I know that they were anxious to get this out for those who are looking to opt back in, but there's still a lot that has to be worked out. I will talk with Hector, and after this month's board meeting on the 27th, I'm sure we'll have much more information for you all. You're welcome to call me or Hector directly using the contact tab on our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Angel, for a great presentation.
Sorry, before you go, there's such a bad echo. Could you just give me the years again for the full pension with benefits, medical benefits?
Medical benefits or pension?
No, you mentioned 32 years, but you said 32 years and some months, and I couldn't hear the months.
So when were you hired?
November 97.
Okay. So you were hired before 2001, can retire with 25 years of service with the pension, which is 26 full-time, no matter how old you are. There will be no penalties. Or if you don't have quite 25 years of service, but you're at least 55, you could retire with at least 3 years of service. There's a 5% penalty for every year under 65 that you are. So if you want the full pension, no penalties, you have to have 25 years of service or 65 years of age. Probably 25 is going to come first for you. And then you need to be 55 with at least 20 years of eligibility service in order to take the insurance.
You
Now,
mentioned
when people
something
say,
about 32 years.
yeah, so max benefit, the maximum that you can receive as a CTA employee would be after reaching 32.58 years, which is 33.58 full time. This would mean that your benefit won't grow unless you do stay to the end of the year and reach a new high year. Because remember, what goes into your pension calculation? Your average times years of service. So if your average is going higher, so is your pension. Doesn't matter if you work 40 years, if you keep reaching new highs, you're going to keep getting a higher pension. So 32.58 technically pension service years, 33.58 full-time. That's when you reach 70% of your average as your pension.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Angel, for a great presentation. We will be sending out this recording to all participants. And if you do have any questions, please reach out. If not, everybody have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jillian. Thank you for joining.
Thank you both.
Thank you.